you'll learn what bar charts and histograms are, how to create bar charts and histograms, and how to interpret bar charts and histograms. Let's begin with bar charts. A bar chart is used to compare the sizes of different groups. A bar chart has two axes, an x-axis and a y-axis. One axis, in this case the x-axis, defines categories or groups based on a qualitative variable. The other axis, the y-axis, defines a numeric scale based on a quantitative variable. And finally, columns are placed over each group such that the height of the column indicates the size of the group. In this bar chart, it looks like Group A is twice as large as Group B and 4 times as large as Group C. Like a bar chart, a histogram uses bars to compare the sizes of different groups. Unlike a bar chart, though, a histogram uses a quantitative variable to define groups on the x-axis. Groups may be defined by a single number or by a range of numbers. With a histogram, groups are always defined on the x-axis, never on the y-axis. The y-axis defines a numeric scale based on a quantitative variable. Columns are positioned over the x-axis so that the height of the column indicates the size of the group. Note that there is no space between columns on a histogram. Let's work through an example to show how to create a histogram from raw data. Here's a table that shows car ownership among 20 families. One family does not have a car. 3 have 1 car, 6 have 2 cars, 5 have 3 cars, 4 have 4 cars, and one family has 5 cars. To turn this table into a histogram, we need a quantitative variable to define groups for the x-axis. So we will use number of cars to define 6 groups: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On the y-axis, we will use number of families to measure group size. We will let column height reflect the number of families that own cars in each group. We have one family with 0 cars, so the column over 0 is 1 unit high. 3 families have 1 car, so the column over 1 is 3 units high. Continuing in this way, we see that the column over 2 is 6 units high. The column over 3 is 5 units high. The column over 4 is 4 units high. And the column over 5 is 1 unit high. Recall that patterns of data with quantitative variables can be interpreted in terms of 4 factors: spread, centrality, shape, and unusual features. In terms of spread, we would say that car ownership ranges from 0 to 5 cars. In terms of centrality, the distribution is centered over 2 or 3. In terms of shape, the graph is nearly symmetric, sort of bell-shaped, with a peak at 2 cars. With respect to unusual features, there are no gaps or outliers. Let's review. Bar charts and histograms both use columns to compare the sizes of different groups. Bar charts use a qualitative variable to define groups. Histograms use a quantitative variable. Because groups are qualitative in bar charts, it is not meaningful to talk about the symmetry or skewness of a bar chart. In contrast, because groups are quantitative in histograms, it is useful to talk about the symmetry and skewness of a histogram. Other differences between the two charts are largely cosmetic. Bar charts have space between columns, histograms do not. With bar charts, columns can be vertical or horizontal. With histograms, columns are only vertical.